All right, I welcome you here to say to another live stream, from SmartKey. And today we will talk about our feature data on the card. This function was created primarily for managing chips in apartment buildings. And it is actually our answer to solving the impossibility of internet connection at the entrances to apartment and panel buildings. And this function gave us a lot of possibilities, thanks to which we can, for example, encrypt our chips and quite effectively address places that are not completely accessible. And the system can be operated in both options. That means some devices can be offline, data on the card, some can be online, or they can be purely offline through mobile management. All these three variants can be combined within our system. So the basis of everything is hardware or electronic device, simply any device in the SmartKey system operated in the Smart Manager, and then the encoder. The encoder is a USB box. It looks like this. It actually contains our firmware so that we can use it to upload the chips and directly encrypt them against cloning. It's good to use our chips, with which encryption is guaranteed. Not every chip will work, but these ones definitely will. So I definitely recommend them. We made a new durable design, a combination of plastic and steel, so it's quite comfortable. So now we would show how I add a new handle to our SmartKey Manager application so that it is in the function data on the card, and we will proceed further. So I have created a clean tenant in which I actually have no devices. I wake up some fittings, and I will add a device. 1 second. If I click somewhere here, oh my god, this is phone here. So I actually add a device and then touch the fitting. This switches me into a few things about the mode, so I see it here. When I add it like this, the device, it offers a change of its name. So we will be creating some kind of entrance to the house, the main entrance. And this is set up so that the hardware will work in a way that we can add chips through a mobile application. I activate the data on the card here. This prevents the creation of chips through mobile applications, but actually activates the function of creating them through encoders. This upgrade can be done at any time. The data on the card can be updated. Once the hardware is in the system, it cannot be deactivated retroactively. This means if you decide you no longer want to use data on the card, you must delete the hardware from the tenant and add it again without this function. This is because the data on the card uploads various tokens to the hardware, which would be very difficult to remove later and would cause issues. Regarding the permissions, which chips are supposed to open the doors and which are not. Basically, when you delete it, you know that you delete all the chips from the lock that were issued. The token is completely replaced with a new one, and there's no chance that the old chips would work with the lock. So I confirm it, and it has already appeared in the application. Discovered this new fitting here. I have it here. Let's try to open it. We'll open it because it doesn't quite work on the computer. So we won't do that now. And basically here in the settings I see that the data on the card is turned on. If I didn't have it turned on, it would be off, and I could activate it here. Here's a warning again that you can't go back from active data on the card. So at least let's try to issue some PIN. Locally. Yes, we'll try locally. I don't know if it will work when I have it like this. Or through the computer, we'll try, but it should probably work because it is a direct connection with the mobile, which corresponds. Yes, it already looks like it. Let's try to open 145 hash, not hash. Yes, excellent. So it works for us. Good. So now that we have set up our lock at the door like this, we can move to our web application where we'll continue working with the cards. I'm logged into the web application. I am logged in with the same account. I have selected the tenant I chose. I don't see the hardware here yet. I refresh the web and now I see that I have the hardware here. So I am adding new keys to this hardware again in the key cards tab, and I'll let it switch to English for now. Then I'll show you how you can translate the page into Czech. However, in English it's good because I'm already used to how it works. So we will be creating a new card. We will create issue card here, and here we actually have our encoder. We'll show you that right away. Before we start building, we'll show you how to add an encoder. We'll create the encoder here in this management section. Here we select manager encoder. If we haven't downloaded it, we click download, and here we have the application for Windows 10.11 server for encoder. We download, install, and we must log into the encoder with our account just like in the manager. After the encoder is installed, it will show here that it is online, and in start we will actually see SmartKey encoder. So if I have it online here, it's all right. So I'll go back to those cards and start creating the first card. I'll create the ish card, and here I can select all the devices that I have switched to data mode on the card. I have one handle there, so I'll select one handle. Otherwise, of course, all the devices where the data setting is on the card will be turned off here. If you have more devices but only some are set as data on the card, then only those set as data on the card will be displayed here, and I can issue. So I issue the encoder beeps at me and I attach some chip to it. So I select a chip and place it on the encoder. At that moment it shows me that it has been issued, and I can name it somehow. I will name it with the number that is on the chip and the color. That's how I created it. Save. So now we have the chip created. Let's test if the chip will open the lock. Well, you see, it opens. And it's done. This is how you issue chips individually. Now at the moment when you have an apartment building, you will probably issue a bit more chips than 1 or 10, let's say 100 chips. For that, this function is here. I will issue a card. I choose where I will issue it. That can be adjusted later. And here is batch issue. Here in the batch issue, there is actually an option to insert a file. So have the file here as an example, an Excel file. I'll open that. Yes.
Website.
In the web, you can take that Excel and simply move it into the transfer window. So here I have this window. Do you see that I moved it there? And it already offered me everything that I actually put into that Excel. You will have 150 people, and it will create 150 options for you here. Here, up here, I see that I will be uploading an entrance. If you have a larger, more extensive system and want to upload specific fittings for each entrance, you can always change it here. Again, you can adjust how many you want to have there. And then you go back to Bit and you have it ready here already with the new settings. So yeah, I have it ready and I can just start recording. The first one wants 0398 purple. I have that here. The camera froze, of course.
Just a moment until it loads.
Or it doesn't run at all. Sorry.
Bottom.
That probably wouldn't be turned on.
Like, so it should be okay now, and we should be back. That's right. So I have prepared the purple one. Here it is. I'll try to focus. It also has the number on it, so it's clear which one it is. I will place it on the encoder like this. And in the app, I'll issue. It's recorded and it immediately switches to the next red chip. I'm putting in the red one, sending it. It fits the green one, I select green. It fits the yellow one, I select yellow. And that's it. We have it recorded. So the yellow one is something, right? There. It's there. So in this way, I then normally close it here. In the keycard tab, the individual chips have already appeared. I'll test if it opens for us. Postman's chip bit. So we have it open, everything works. So that's about setting up the chip. This is how you simply set up the chip. Now we would show what happens if I lose the chip, because sometimes it happens that the chip gets lost. You have two options right away on how to deal with this chip loss. One option is that in the application, actually for one moment, okay? So one option is that in the application, you actually block the chip through the encoder. Let's say the postman comes and says he lost his chip. I'll press cancel here. Yes, cancel. You see that the chip is actually blocked, but it still works at this moment. I have to issue a new chip for her. I'll take 404 and select replace. I place it on the encoder, replace, yes. And I'll call it actually post and put there 404. Brown. So with that, one is actually cancelled and one is replaced. At this moment, I have issued the chip, but since it's an offline system, I haven't been to the doors yet. That means the blue one still works. The moment I take the new chip, validate it, it will open the door for me and simultaneously block the blue one.
Locked. Didn't block. How come it didn't block? Yes, the 400, this yellow one will block. Yes, it's already blocked. So this yellow one works continuously until you come with the new one that erases it. If there was a problem with this one regarding speeds, so the users have the option to actually block the chip in the app via Bluetooth link. So I go into the app, I go into tenant, I select cards, I select the chip I want to block. In this case, let's try to block the blue one. And here we will cancel the card. Yes. So at this moment we have cancelled the blue card.
Yes, they did not cancel it.
Cancel the card once more. The blue card, and I want it. I selected the cancel card and want to delete it. At this moment, it's happening again via Bluetooth. This means you have to be directly at the lock, but at this moment, the blue card is already blocked without me actually running there with a new card. This solution, the quickest one, is when the building manager needs to block the chip immediately, and then you issue a new one with the encoder. The important thing is that when you have switched the data mode on the card so that it doesn't mix anywhere, you are not able to issue new cards other than through the encoder. This way it is monitored who has which card. You see, there is no way to issue it, otherwise the same applies to the device. There's just no plus here, but when it is in standard mode, there is only a plus to add a card, and by placing it on the reader, you can issue a new card. So this way we have it blocked and the chip won't get in there anymore.
So we have shown that on reading history.
Since the system is offline, every time you open the door with a user, you send the battery status to the server. This means the administrator also has a rough overview of the battery status, but regarding the records, there might be a problem in that not all of them are loaded. So you give some administrator access to be like an administrator, and he can go into the lock in the application and actually remotely read the passage records from the device directly. It's like this. You actually load it directly at the moment. When you turn it off here, it loads for you. Let me check if we didn't give those. No. Here are the records, and you actually see the last.
Tady jsou záznamy. A vlastně vidíte, tady vidíte vlastně poslední
last opening with which code and so on. Beta records are then individual devices. That's why you also see the names of the cards, which I don't see here. I don't know why. Here, I see the door and who opened it. That's this one. We'll adjust it so you can actually see the names of the cards in the records. That's some bug we have here. We'll resolve it. So this way you can then load the history directly from the doors. Another thing you will probably deal with in the case of apartment building is intercoms. That means the ideal way to secure entrances to apartment buildings is to have self-locking locks and control those self-locking locks with our handle. Since we are compatible with, let's say, 95% of self-locking locks on the market. But what you actually give up is opening through some of those BFA openers, which actually only tilt
The latch. So when it is locked, you actually cannot get into the house.
We used to solve this problem with our relay, which you actually connected to the contact of the house phones for the BFO, and the cable went to the handle, which unlocked the handle and actually opened the self-locking lock. The issue, of course, is that cable usually had to be run through the original doors. That means taking apart the door, threading the cable, and doing some milling. It's quite complicated in terms of installation. So we thought about it and made a kind of box that we have, which actually works in such a way that here you connect the contact from the BFA to these two terminal blocks, and the box sends a signal through this antenna to the handle to open it. So now we will pair the box. This is done through the app, and in the app we open the door and go to remote control. Here we press plus and name it intercom, right? Okay.
We can set the validity, but we probably won't do that. So let's press the pairing button. The top button like this, it will start blinking, and we select pair here. This will show us that it is available for pairing. And here we have it. So at this moment, when I use the same button to give the command to open, it actually closes. And when I give the command to open, it unlocks. And we see that basically almost immediately, as soon as I give it the impulse, it opens. We have the command open close, and it can be combined, for example, with a security system. If you want to give some command to our device, open close through the security system when, for example, you have the door closed and you know it's locked, and at that moment you want the lock to also lock, so you give the impulse to close, and vice versa. You decode the security system and you can give an impulse to open, for example, have a set passage mode where it switches the lock from always open to closed. And in the end, you can use a third-party device to control our entire device, where our application then serves only to check the batteries, and X is Marcius in the record when the opening occurred, but you will probably see and deal with this directly in the security system as well. So in this way, you conveniently handle wireless door phones. The range of these devices, 5 to 10 meters, which we believe is sufficient to actually connect those door phones, which are usually right next to the doors, so it shouldn't be a problem. The device is battery operated, powered by 3 volts. If you want to connect it directly to 3 volts, it will work without batteries. On batteries, it lasts about 2 years, so these batteries need to be replaced every 2 years. Yes, the same goes for the handle. The standard lifespan of our handle for apartment domains should be about 2 years on one set of batteries. That means at the same moment you change the handle, you also change the intercom. So the last function that you will probably use often is the administrator and user function. Each here, our device gives you the option to create and control the locks even with a mobile app. However, to be able to control it, you need to download our app and register with an email address. You can use Gmail, Apple, or any other email. With Apple, we recommend setting it up so that your email address can be used, because otherwise it will generate some Apple hash email, which is almost unusable for adding to the system. It's just really inconvenient. With Gmail and others, it's simple. Just enter your Gmail and it will create an account for you. If you have an account created, we can show it here. I can actually create Google here, and you don't have an account here. You click on Google and it asks you which Google you want to use, and you just connect. And that's all. I'll log back in and we'll continue right away. Training. So you have created an account. You go to tabs users and you create a new user. Here you have several options. It's either member, which is a user who should only control and open the doors. Operator is, they can also set up doors, and an administrator is, the operator can set specific doors. They can choose which ones. And for the administrator, that's simply the highest level of permission there. They can set everything within that tenant. We will create one user and we'll do that. We'll use my email like this, and at this moment I have sent it And I actually have an invitation here, and I'm waiting for the user to log in. I will log in there through Google, selecting the Gmail I entered. And here it shows that I am invited to the training tenant. I switch to the training tenant, and you see that I actually see nothing here, because although I am invited, I am not. I don't have the settings for...
No locks, so now I go back to the service where we set up the user. So I have this user here, and the moment the user was added, they appeared here as Ondra and their account, and I see that they are a member. At this moment, I select a lock that the user will control. So wait, here I select that I want Ondra to control these doors, and he will only open them, save. At that moment I will see it in the app. Let's switch to the app. Here we will log out. Will I manage it? Here. No, I'm somewhere else. I'll log out. I'll log in through that Gmail.
Možná
I probably won't make it here. Well, I'll try from my phone. Super. He can log in like this.
super. Nebo se k němu přihlásím.
There. So I'll log in as a different user, because this user was already messing around there. I'll delete him and create here another member. So I have him there, accept the invitation. Oh, excellent. And I'll add that we can open the doors with this user. So at this moment, I return to the app. No. So, and I see, I actually see the doors here. And when I open it, I can already, we can open the doors. Well, I see the battery status and I can open the doors. Nothing more. When I go back to the web and so here with this user, I can actually change the option to manage. At that moment in the app, I should also see the settings.
Manage. V ten okamžik v té aplikaci bych měl vidět i nastavení.
Here, And actually, I can already see the settings for those functions, and it's only for the locks that I selected.
Funkcji. A je to jenom pro ty zámky, který jsem si zvolil.
Because the moment I want the user to no longer control the doors, I simply remove them from the doors, and at that moment they should no longer have a chance to do anything there. Well, you see the doors disappeared. So like this, I have the users here, and here I have the devices, you know. So when I go to users, I click on users here, and here I have devices that I can add and a role, either opening or managing. So it's important to do the management of the login. And so on the computer web, I can also see records from those individual devices. And the status of those batteries here, I actually see the status of the batteries, how much of what I have recorded in those doors. But since it's offline, I actually have a status of nothing here. If I added our transmitter here, I'll add it there. Okay, so I'm adding it then. I am putting the transmitter into the socket again through the application, where I log in as an administrator. Let me switch this for a second. So the application here, I am logged in again as an administrator. I'll just adjust it a bit. And here I actually select the tenant gateway, add a gateway, select the gateway. I'll test it.
Vyberu tenant. Gateway, dám bránu gateway, vyberu si bránu. Dám jí test.
And it shows me the Wi-Fi networks it sees. I select an account here that is open, so I don't enter a code. Otherwise, I would normally enter the code here. And I connect to the internet. Yes, at this moment the lock is connecting, and I can already see the lock status. And when I switch to the web and refresh it, it already shows me that the lock is online and what the Wi-Fi status is. I can give it the command to unlock, and through the server it will open, the lock will open for me. You see, it takes a moment. It's purely through the server, so you need to wait a bit. As it serves this way, you are actually able to invite those other users into your tenants so that they can open doors via mobile. The advantage is that every time the user who only has permission to open the door uses it, opens it, at that moment you receive the information about the battery status and some basic data about the passage, which you can then perform directly at the door through the applications. And I think that's probably all regarding this new feature, and the features available for either all locks that are manufactured in the year 2024. It concerns both like our handles, our motorized locks, which you can then have, for example, for apartments or wall readers and just everything. All the devices that we currently have in our application already come with the data on card function. So whatever you are dealing with within the apartment building, I think you will have a sufficient selection to cover all your locking elements. So that's all from me for today. In case of any questions, definitely write in the comments and we will try to communicate it. And regarding installations for apartment buildings, we strictly use our service network. This means there are partners who receive training from us and are listed on our website. They are always trained, and we currently have the network of the Czech Republic covered. In the future, I plan to cover Slovakia as well, but currently I can say that the Czech Republic, essentially all areas, Bohemia, Moravia, Silesia, are already covered today, and you can turn to the partners without any problems. And whether you will have chips created through our partners or purchase an encoder and then create the chips offline within the apartment building is entirely up to you. So there are many options to make the system work as best as possible. The best, so you can really choose which option is absolutely the best for you and the whole system. Otherwise, we're running on Microsoft on Azure, and it's within the Microsoft network. We probably write the applications ourselves, so it's directly SmartKey, so there's no problem. If you have any features or suggestions for improvement, write to us and we will gradually implement them. As you saw in today's stream, there are a few bugs that we still need to address, and of course there is more, but basically we have been operating data on the card for over a year and have received very good feedback, so I think the direction is absolutely great. And we will just keep improving it, adding new features and expanding it to offer apartment buildings the maximum number of usable features. And we really made smart doors, and at the same time we didn't burden the administration with unnecessary things, so they can simply turn to our partners who manage it daily. And they are able to maintain order in those chips at the highest level, which I think is quite essential if you want to have a system that you want to operate long term, and either want to have some overview just in terms of who actually has some access to your apartment building. So thank you for your attention. Take care, and definitely write in the comments if you have any questions about it.